Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is April 8th, 2021. This is episode 266, and I'm halfway through my reviews for the week. I got 14 books this week. Holy moly. So I'm looking forward to clearing up some of these really quickly so I'll have a decent weekend. Okay, Chasing the Dragon. This is what we're looking at today, issue number 2. It's $3.99. It comes out from Heavy Metal Magazine, Magma, Comics. So I guess that's the spinoff for Heavy Metal Magazine for Comic Division. Our cover here depicts a volcano, kind of a lake, and then a vantage point with, I believe it's Andre and Jen looking across the lake. And then we have these hard to see, but there's these different, like almost constellation type looking things. And then we have, I believe that's supposed to be a dragon skull there. Maybe it's a bird skull. I am not quite sure. So this scene is kind of depicted in here without these images that I don't know if you can even see them. They're very, very faint. All right, let's see who worked on this book. Denton J. Tipton was the story writer. The art was by Menton III. The lettering and design was by Gilberto Lascano. The art cover was by Menton III. Retail incentive cover art is by Max Dunbar. We'll look at that later. And colors was by Sebastian Chang. I just want to mention this is a recommend. However, it's very difficult to read. The colors in here are very, very dark. At times, some of the you can't tell, like this, who's who. So you kind of have to reread it. There seems to be almost panels missing to me that would give a little bit more narrative to the story. But it is interesting enough. It's well written, and some of the art is just downright stunning. I must say. Now, I've seen comparisons to Game of Thrones for this, but other than there being a dragon and a castle, I'm not really seeing any of those comparisons really coming to fruition in this particular story, at least. Okay, so what has happened right here is they're up on the ramparts of a castle. It's Andre and Jin, I believe, and they are looking across the Lake Vitriol, at the volcano there, and they have just quickly escaped out of the queen's chamber. She had turned into a dragon and killed the master alchemist of Andre. His name is Hermes, and Andre is a apprentice alchemist, but he knows how to make the dragon blood, which is very valuable to the queen, and I guess it has something to do with her transforming into a dragon, or maybe just giving her more power. I'm not sure what, but he can also make something called dragon fire, and maybe that's what the combination they're thinking of for Game of Thrones. I believe they called it dragon fire in that too. So as they're standing on the ramparts here, a guard's rushing out to stop them, and apparently it's so dark that he doesn't realize this passageway doesn't just end, because he comes running out and just keeps going. He goes over the side and splats on the ground. So the Jin decides, like, we got to get out of here quickly. And she says, I know a way. There's a fire escape here. We just got to find the entrance. And so they're up. See, you can see them way up at the tower here. And here's the fire escape. It's actually a slide, which is kind of cool. So Jin goes ahead and takes off first. Andre's a little unsure, but then he just decides, you know what, I better go too. And I'm not sure what Jin's purpose is in this, other than she was somebody that was kind of like a chambermaid for the queen. But she is obviously doesn't want to be with the queen any longer. Now the queen has summoned this elf person and his name's like Nimloth, to track down Andre and Jin. And he's kind of a bounty hunter, basically, and he's got this frog companion. I don't know if you can see it anywhere here. Now, the deal that they have struck is she wants Andre back alive because apparently his skills to making the dragon blood are very valuable to her, so he wants that back. But whatever he wants to do with the girl is fine with her. She's turned out to be kind of I guess, like a traitor, so she doesn't want her back at all. And so they go back and forth a little bit, just gabbing some more. Meanwhile, we've got Andre and Jin sliding down the spiral fire escape here. He comes out, he's got bird poop all over him. He says, it wasn't that bad except for the bird poop. And then we get this is these things that makes it a little difficult to figure out what's going on. And you get like this, and this is actually a lighter panel. It's not too bad, but I guess this one's Andre and this one's Jin. And so they decide to keep on moving. Andre suggests, before we go on, you can see that we've got Nimloth looking down. You can see the splatted soldier down there, the guard down below, and he's smoking something. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's kind of a weird magazine. He's also got this companion frog, Kabur, and he talks to him. I don't know if the frog's going to talk back to him ever. But as the two are wandering along the shore here, this is Andre and Jin over here now. Andre's saying, why didn't we go to the docks and get a boat and cross, because we have to go to that volcano? And she's telling him the docks is what they're going to close down first. That's what they're going to search first. So it's better that we walk along the shore and look for a boat along here. So they cross by. You can see this skeleton here. Not quite sure who the skeleton is. Sometimes some things make sense and sometimes they don't, but there's just a skeleton there. And so what they start seeing, though, is a ghost, and I believe this is the ghost of Andre's mom, and she is calling out for Andre's father, Bruno, and then she suddenly fades away. And one of the things that Jin tells Andre is like, yes, we're not going to be the only ones out here. There are ghosts that wander the shoreline too, looking for something. And once they find it, they can move on to the next plane. But then we've got Nimloth coming across the same skeleton. So he's hot on their trail. He's actually doing a pretty good job of following. He's got the frog on his shoulder. He's talking to the frog. And Andre and Jin come across a man. He says he can take them across. And he says, what will it cost? He says, it won't cost you anything, but you have to row. And so here's where it gets a little, I can't really tell what's going on. I can tell Jin's got an oar, and maybe Andre's doing some rowing too and doing the rudder. I can't really tell from what's drawn here, but we have Jin standing up and Andre talking to her. He's just kind of sitting down. So she starts spacing out all of a sudden. So I'm not sure if she's hungry or what, but in the meantime, the person that they're rowing across with, he's been singing, and Nimloth can hear the song from coming off across the lake. And so he gets out his telescope and he looks and he can actually see them crossing the lake. So he knows what direction they're going, that they're crossing the lake. And in the meantime, this giant bird suddenly it swoops down and attacks those on the boat. And it actually knocks Jin into the water. She tries to grab the passenger, and it turns out he's a ghost as well. So she ends up falling into the water, and she goes down. And apparently this lake vitriol has got this, it's not regular water. It's like acidic to her. And I don't know if it's because she's got the dragon blood in her or what, but she starts to dissolve as she pops out of the water here. You can see all her clothing's gone, her hair is almost gone. Andre grabs her. He is immediately burned by the hellfire that's on her. He can't help her. He can't carry her out without dying too. So he does his best to deal with the lake. He tries to neutralize it. He throws something into the water, and then he rows on. He's able to get to retrieve the body of Jen and pull her ashore. And as he's got her on the shoreline, a dwarf runs up. So it looks like he's got battle axe. It looks like there's going to be a confrontation here. Confrontation there. So this is where we stop to be continued. It is a recommend, but like I said, it's really hard to understand. I've gone through it like 3 times. I had to do that with the first issue as well, just trying to piece things together. But it is an interesting story, so I'm going to stick with it for at least one more issue. Now, here's the cover of the next issue, and you can tell it's this guy here is on it. That's coming out next month, so that would be May. And we get the credentials of the writer and the artist here, and plus a shot of our regular cover that we just looked at without the graphics on it, and also the variant cover. Now this variant kind of is confusing because they show an armored knight or guard or something attacking the dragon, I'm assuming, but that did not occur in this book as well. And the dragons, this is a different dragon. Dragon's eyes are green in here, so I'm not sure what's going on with this, but that's what we got. All right, let's see what else is on this book. We got Amber Blake, something new coming out, Operation Dragonfly. It's coming out in July. All right, pre-order today. I don't know if I'll be on that book. I'm not sure what it's about. We have The Modern Frankenstein, Paul Cornell, and we have a sneak preview. This was also in issue 1. It looks kind of interesting. Like he's got the sequence. Obviously, this is the Frankenstein, and when he turns his head, we can actually see that he's got his brain is still open. So I don't know if he's dreaming this or what, but his leg gets stuck. He can't move it. So he's like touching his brain, trying to get it to move. And then he kind of all of a sudden, here's another voice, and he's kind of doing this fade away. It turns out, I guess he's in an operating room. So they're making the Frankenstein, I'm guessing. And just some chit-chat and another ad for it. Available in April. So this is coming out this month, if it hasn't already. I don't think I saw it in the store. So, okay, so that's my review of issue 2 of Chasing the Dragon. There you go. This is getting the Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating seal of approval. It is a tough read, though, so I'm warning you off the top. You know, it's not easy to figure this stuff out going through here. Okay, so I'm halfway through my reviews for the week. I got 14 books this week, so I think this is number 8. So I got a ways to go still. So bear with me. Come back and see the other ones. I had some really good reviews this week. Everything has been recommended except for one. So got 6 more to go. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't. Please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.